All right. I'll talk about Spectre real quick. I thought I made it very clear that I was gonna just wait for Joshkin to do her to watch the movie, and I talk about it with Joshkin. But obviously, people want to have my own opinion on Spectre. They felt you promised to give me the Spectre review, so here's my feeling on this. Yes, I'm aware that Spectre has a mixed reaction towards a lot of people, more so than those who like the more serious Bond versus the Bond that had a more goofy or more humorous tone. That's something that's going to happen regardless of what I feel. There's just some people who like their Bonds a certain way, and that's fine. The same thing with Doctor Who. Not everybody's a Doctor Who fan of one particular Doctor. You have a fan of some of the Tony Baker ones, including the current one that's running now. So I understand that. I also understand that this bond may be an underperforming bond for the U.S. domestic box office. That's something I'm not surprised about, considering they spend, in my opinion, way too much money for. So much money that I actually kind of scratched my head as to why they didn't need to market this film that much. In fact, I don't think they should have done that too much creative, especially with YouTube and everybody else talking about the next upcoming Bond. Bond pretty much can promote themselves. So to spend a lot of money on that, even though I understand locations, licenses, the actors, I do know that round up, but 200 million, that's a lot of money. And you're not going to make that much back, at least in the U.S. Box office. Internationally, no question, this became a big hit. I believe it made $300 million there, but they do look at the United States box office as the primary example. When I ask why, if my own opinion, I think they're going to say it's an international hit and that's it. But don't be surprised they're going to cut back on the budgeting come the next Bond franchise, which will probably be 2 to 3 years from now. With that being said, like I said before, Josh, I enjoyed watching this Bond movie. I thought the Bond movie was fun, entertaining. It was an action Bond, but it did have problems. I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't. This was not the well scripted Bond film. I think that everybody had made an agreement on that. It was not a polished script, and I'm not going to make any excuses about that. It should have been a better script. It reminded me of the Pierce Brosnan era, and I like Pierce Brosnan as Bond. He was the Bond that I actually envisioned in my head a long time ago before anybody else came in the picture. And I think that for what Pierce Brosnan even said this, uh, what hurt him in terms of the Bond franchise is they relied a lot about action, and they relied about more gunplay and even more CGI at some point rather than telling a good story. And that actually was the fault of the Pierce Brosnan era. He was at the mercy of those scripts, and they were not good scripts. And a lot of people complain about that. But what I liked about it is that he made it work. He was enjoyable to watch, and he made it work. Even though the script, you scratch your head and the decision makers they made, Christmas Jones and The World's Not Enough, The Invisible Car, and Dying of the Day, which I consider to be a fun Bond film to watch. There were some things that hurt the Pierce Brosnan era, and eventually it hurt the Bond franchise itself. They even admitted that they wouldn't rely too much on the effects and scaled down, which they have. If you notice, Daniel Craig's Bond film has been pretty much kept that special effects, even though they were still there, but they was kept in neutral, and they really relied back on the locations and mostly the strength of the actors as well as the script. In this case, it was the actors who actually done a great job of bringing this Bond world to life. I really give kudos to it, and this is, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they single-handedly carried this movie. I really enjoyed Pierce Brosnan as Bond. I enjoyed the characters that they add on. Ralph Fiennes as M. I think he's great. I'm looking forward to see even more roles like playing M, as well as Naomi Harris and everybody else who in the picture who have actually done a great job of in their roles. I think the best thing they also did was getting Christoph Waltz. I hope they keep him signed because I think I will love to see him again playing Blofeld. I do not want to see another Blofeld played by different actor. That's one thing that killed me with the other Bonds. We didn't have a Blofeld that was recognized. Donald Pleasant even though he was limited in that Blofeld, was still his most memorable. I don't think anybody talked too much about Torres Velez or the guy who, by the way, played Bond Informant. He played Blofeld, and it was like, really, guys, we really going to go for this? I mean, he became the anti Felix Leiter because everybody made fun of Felix Leiter. How old will Felix Leiter be in this Bond movie? Will he be in his 30s? Will he be in his 60s and 70s? Will he be in his 30s or 40s again? That was always one of the nerve wracking about Felix. They never really kept Felix age grounded. I hope they don't do that with this character because he really played that role. He played it the best way I can. I know a lot of people getting a little bit ignored, and I am too. That they try to make it like he's really not Blofeld. He's Blofeld. Come on, man. We knew he was Blofeld. You're not gonna have a character sit in that chair and not be Blofeld. I don't care what name you give him. We know he's Blofeld. And of course, without really, because this movie's been out for a while. They revealed it. He's Blofeld. So I don't know why they actually try to keep it a secret. No one sat there. You're not going to get one of the prominent actors right now, the top actors who can play a good guy as a villain and not have him as the singular role. And when he did, he actually did good. I know a lot of people complain saying there wasn't enough of him. I think there was too much of him, to be honest with you, because I think, frankly, if you look back, this is the beginning of something big. This is not. You're not gonna throw this character away. That's why I knew when I saw the ending, which I'll talk about that in a little bit. I knew that there was no way they're gonna get rid of this character. There's no way they're gonna kill him off. They need him. They got Spectre back. They got the Rice back, and my golly, they're gonna use it to the T. Which pretty much one of the things I actually liked about the film is that with the coming of Spectre, they get the chance to pretty much tie up all loose ends, especially from the other three films, which I would say this. Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, they are linked together. Quantum of Solace, we now pretty much no surprise, was a branch, a special different division of Spectre. We also found out that Holly Silva was part of Spectre somehow. I still don't see the connection, even though the only thing I can actually give an explanation is he actually gave information to Spectre, and Spectre actually gave him the power and the resources to attack MI6 and go take revenge on M. That's the only link I got, folks. I do not have any reason why, other than the fact because his motivation is way different than the motivations of the first two films that Daniel Craig has that, but regardless, they all came in together, and I think they all neatly resolved itself right straight to Spectre, the most biggest organization and Bond's greatest threat in the entire series. I like the fact that they actually played off the mystery and aura of Spectre and why Spectre is a dangerous threat to be reckoned with. Even though Lieber didn't like the fact that they had this technology babble that everybody seemed to be mad, I felt it was necessary. And the reason is you need to know why this organization needs to be taken down, why this organization you don't want to underestimate. And it shows how dangerous this organization can get. Imagine a crime organization ahead of your security team without being checked by no one else. And that's the biggest situation, which brings me to another villain, which has a lot of them, C, which actually had more screen time than Blofeld. I like the character in Max playing Moriarty. I think he did a good job. He wasn't terrible, guys. I can't say he was. I think it was unnecessary to have him, but I think it wasn't terrible. You need to have someone who's working on the inside, and him playing C pretty much fit the description. But yeah, I think they could have got a better actor because he just seemed like he did not want to be there. It felt like he was just going for the motions. To me, it really dragged down a lot of actors who otherwise would have been great. It seemed like they really did not want to work with him for some reason. I just kept on saying, gee, is it me or Rough Mind seemed to be, telling a step backwards in terms of his performance. It really just felt like he was really like, wow, he was great. He was just fine. And when he comes on the screen with him, it's like, he brings his momentum down a little bit. I'm not to say anything about the actor because, like I said, I loved Holmes. I loved Sherlock. Him being at Moriarty was actually pretty much a bold move because I don't expect Moriarty that way, but I actually liked it. I think it worked, especially in Series 2 in that grand finale. Doing that version of the final prom. I thought it was done well done. So I was actually looking forward because when I saw him in the trailer. I'm like, I think this is a fan trailer because there's no way they got this character. But then again, I think he has his own channel, or he's piggyback on somebody else's channel. But either way, I saw something on him, and he was hinting, yeah, he was on this film. So when I saw the trailer again, I said, okay, I saw other trailers. He's definitely in this movie, but what role he's going to play? He's definitely playing a good guy, and it turns out he was the informant. And the only knock about it is that when you see him, and this is not no coincidence, everybody saw it. You know he was a villain. He's not a good guy in this. You know he was a villain, and he's pretty much trying to not sabotage, but pretty much absorb the MI6 into one entity with other governments, so that way it will be under one unit. And to do this, he has to get rid of double O's. As a result of this, he's basically giving full power to Spectre if they were to succeed, and that is what I think Nine Eye was. What's the name of it? Where Nine Eye was being controlled by private sector, which is Spectre, and their job is to basically monitor and control. But they will be in control. They will have control, but it will also, the result, it will keep this crime organization unchecked because who's controlling them? No one. And it was kind of interesting. We said, okay, well, this is something new. This is something that I can get into, and it really shows the danger of who's really controlling our security system. Is it the government or someone else that we're not aware of? Keep in mind, the governments in each of the United States don't love to privatize everything, and it's pretty much showing, and without really preaching it, that sometimes privatizing everything is not always a good thing, especially when it comes to the safety of the people. And that's something that the theme was being thrown out there. That's that pre-theme, because it's not the theme of the movie. But in any case, that became something of a big gripe with a lot of Bond fans. They did not want it there, but I felt it didn't hurt the film. I think if anything, it helped explain what's actually been going on. I was actually more in the mystery of how Judi Dench M, which actually made a special appearance, which I was actually smiling and I was actually happy. Which, by the way, that's how Bond got his assignment. It's an unofficial assignment. He was basically went rogue from the very beginning of the film. When he was in New Mexico, he had no organization to be in New Mexico. But when we find out it was M who actually, his old boss, actually gave instruction, I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we understand what's going on, because he's getting instructions from his old boss. He's keeping a promise from his old boss, and one of the promises is to kill this guy, don't be late for the funeral. But she's been very cryptic, so you're kind of wondering, is this something that she had found out before her death? Keep in mind, she wanted to know who got the information from Silver, who got the disc. So is this this is part of the link between Skyfall and Spectre? It could be. It could possibly be it. Remember, keep in mind, they never really follow through on that during the last scene of Skyfall. So maybe this is part of it right here. So seeing that she still got the influence of M, because he could have easily ignored this. There's no reason for him to go searching for the situation, but he knows his old boss. He knows that there was something going on, and he's going to follow the instructions. Which brings a lot of confidence of M, who is trying to keep the MI6 together, who's trying to keep the Double O branch from falling under, and here you have Bond basically just disobeying his orders. Get used to this, gentlemen. It's going to be like that for a long time. But what I like about what M is that he knows that Bond is onto something. He knows that he's trying to pursue something that could be a greater threat. He just doesn't want to do it, especially after the situation. So there's definitely is that little conflict, but it's more of a trust factor where Moneypenny pretty much said to him, "Hey, I think that you're that you got a secret, something you can't tell no one because you can't trust no one," which is true. So when he revealed it, it made sense. Okay, this is what's going on. Overall, I thought the film was fun to watch. It was entertaining. I liked it, what path it was going to. It was beautifully shot. Give again for Sam Mendes. He knows how to shot a beautiful scenery. He knows camera work. I give him that much respect as a director. There was some problems with this film that keeps this from being a great Bond film. There were some problems that I can agree with a lot of the criticism about this film, and that is the script, man. This script was not well put together, and the characters that I actually want to see more of was pretty much wasted. The first Bond girl he meets, he saved from assassination. You would think that she would have more screen time, but she was there only to be gone. And there's a scene there, that scene with him pushing up on his girl. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't like it with Goldfinger when Sean Connery did it. And I didn't like it here. I don't know why. The storytellers and producers and director think this is a sexy thing. It's not. No, it's very uncomfortable, and it makes Bond very unlikable. I'll tell you right now, the one thing that hurt Goldfinger for me, besides the fact of a weak second half, was the fact that they really made Bond more rapey than what he needed to be, and this is no exception. It's already bad enough that out of the Daniel Craig series, he's probably the least ones you actually want to sleep with when it comes to him, because he seems more psychotic in there. Not to say that's a bad thing, but this is his style of Bond. But this here was the way, it was nothing romantic about it. It was pretty much, it was unnecessary. They didn't need to do it, especially after she just mourned the death of her husband, which, by the way, Bond killed. So I was very, very not happy about that at all. Very, very unnecessary. They didn't need to go that route. I don't know why they continue to do that with this franchise. It just is not a sexy thing for him. Stop doing that. People had a problem with it with Goldfinger, and people had a problem with it right there. Dave Bautista was wasted in this movie. There's no other way to put it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I felt bad that he was actually given less of a role. He had no dialogue whatsoever. He could have had a chance. This could have put him right up there with Odd Job, Jaws, all the great sub-villains that this Bond franchise had, and instead he was just completely wasted. He had 3 scenes. The fight scene on the train was very, very good. I liked the fight scene on the train, but I expected more, better than that. 3 scenes and that's it. That's all I'm going to get. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this was not, I did not expect it to happen. Some of those scenes, like when after that whole scene, that whole fight scene on the train, they end up making love after that. I mean, really, seriously, that's the best solution. And I actually kind of laughed along with the half of the audience, like, come on now, we pretty much saw this was coming, but still, not the best timing of the world. And this is something that I even have to agree with Martin Thomas on doubletoaster.com when I saw his review. Can Bond stop going into danger without having a plan? At least with Connery, the danger was, he didn't just go into it. He was captured. He was, pretty much had no surroundings. And he had to, basically adapt to survive. He keeps walking into the danger, expecting nothing to happen. And all it is it happens. It doesn't work. Now for the final climax. For the second time, this film ends in London, which I don't have a problem with. He's pretty much rehashing some of the scenes, but he made it different enough where I could say, okay, well, back in London, but all right, no problem. The final climactic battle. I was underwhelmed. Like I said, I had a problem with them killing off the villain, because again, you're going to use this villain again in the future. It's guaranteed he's going to be back, whether not probably in this next Bond film, but probably in future Bond films. They got Spectre. They're going to use it. We may see other characters from the Spectre library, like Dr. No, or we may see other characters that have never been used, but probably from the Bond lore, and they're probably going to use it here. So Spectre is definitely going to make a return, and I'm looking forward for it. I'm looking forward to seeing what's more. With that being said, it wasn't a very good ending. It was actually an underwhelming ending for a Bond movie, especially when all this situation going on. It took a Bond's little gun to shoot down a helicopter from long distance range. I'm not too sure I'm buying that, but that's how it really much ended. Bond retires again. And I know they're going. They for what I understand from a lot of Bond periods, they're saying that that's a setup for the next Bond, where Blofeld will probably escape, kill the girl that he loves, and was forced him to go back in MI6. They actually, from what I heard, they actually wanted to do that with the Magic Secret Service, but after rumors that the actor, which I thought he did a pretty decent job in that film, George Lazenby may not return, they just changed it and killed her off at the end of the Bond film. Still a good movie, which I don't think people give it a lot of credit for having probably one of the better storylines in the whole Bond franchise. I think people still say if Connery played it, it would have been the best Bond film ever. I don't think so because they would have definitely changed the way the storyline to fit Connery's style of playing Bond, and who knows how that was going to end up. But for this film, I can live with it to an extent, but yeah, how many times he's gonna walk away from this from MI6 when you finally say enough, man, just stay with MI6. So I wish the ending would have been better, more so in terms of me being, you know, in terms of being overwhelmed or excited. The ending was not that great, but overall, that's just one of the few problems that I have with the film. Now let's get on to the controversy, which everybody seems to be upset, really upset about it, which I don't even get it. I really don't. And that's Sam Smith's theme, the writings on the wall, which they said is not a Bond theme. I can sort of understand that part, but I think it's a good song. I don't. There's no way they can find something that's called Spectre. That's one of those titles where if you can find a title where you can find something that match that and still make it sound good, you're the man. Hey, if you find a person who did a cover or a alternative sound theme song and you think I should check it out, put it on the description because I'm kind of curious because I don't see no way. But to me, that does speak Bond. The writing on the wall does speak of 007, unlike Die Another Day, which I'm gonna be telling right off the bat, I don't consider it as a bad Bond theme, but no, I'm sorry, a bad Madonna song. I just didn't think it should have been on the James Bond theme, and it really felt out of place. But overall, I thought the song was good, just not a Bond film. To me, the most underwhelming Bond song themes, most of it is in the Roger Moore era. It was all slow. It didn't appeal to me. Those are the ones I actually don't like a lot. Most of the later ones, especially during the Pierce Brosnan days, I actually enjoyed. But this one here, a lot of people mad. A lot of people more mad with this one than Skyfall, and I was actually sticking up with Skyfall. And who knows? And lo and behold, it won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I don't think that's going to go down like that. But yeah, I didn't find a problem with it. I mean, I heard it a couple of times, caught on with it. I said, "Oh, it's not bad. It's not, it's not something that is going to hold well with others." But I think this is going to have more staying power than the one with Alicia Keys and Jack White. I mean, I thought that was not the least favorite one of the whole Daniel Craig era. It didn't sound like a Bond theme, and it's not that good when a song that they rejected, Forever I Am Yours, which is a very good song, and I suggest you look for it on YouTube and you see what I mean. If I get a link up, and if I got it, I'll leave a link for you guys to listen to it. Has more of a Bond staying power and more of a love affair where even those who make fanfic films have used it a lot. That tells you a lot about that score. I don't think this is a bad theme. I think that it's just a theme that it doesn't speak to. When people hear it, it's like it's too slow, maybe. But you know what? Goldfinger with a slow song, and the producers of themselves didn't like it. It turned out to be the signature song that started the Bond theme song. So, to me, I think it's a quiet taste. I don't think it's bad. I do agree that the opening title leaves very little to be desired for. I think they went way too much on that. But like I said, it's a theme song. It's there. It was gone. I'm more upset with the overall score. I thought the score was weak. I really didn't think this was a good score. I thought they were borrowing too much from the last movie. A lot of it felt like it was made for TV. It made the film more corny than what it should have been at times, especially when you have M and C, going at it with words. They really, to me, I thought that is a step backwards. It makes me wish that David Arnold actually did the score. I understand the reason why he's not doing the score because Sam Mendes has his own variety of choice to who he wants to score. And that's fine. That's no problem. But to me, I always felt that Thomas, even though Skyfall wasn't that bad in terms of scoring, I just felt that he doesn't really bring enough zip to that score. I mean, he's not the worst. I mean, I heard worse. Even though the theme of Nobody Does It Better was actually a good film and considered to be one of the Bond classics. I hated the score of that movie. I mean, that score was horrendously bad, and I just like scratched my head. Even some of John Barry's, God rest his soul, has some underwhelming scores during the later years of the Bond track. So to me, this is just one of those things that I just wish they could have done a lot better with. So what's my rating? I said it before and I say it again. It's a three-star movie. It's not going to be considered one of the great Bond films, but for the most part, they did enough to me to say, hey, I was enjoying myself. I had fun. I can watch it again and still have fun with it. I had fun with it. Not every Bond movie is going to be a masterpiece. I'm sorry. There are just some films that are going to be better than others. This is not better than Skyfall. But I don't consider it to be worse than Quantum. Quantum has some faults into it. I mean, it has some lot of faults into it that hurt that film's rating. But to me, I think the best one to a lot of people in the Daniel Craig on the Daniel Craig era will always be Casino Royale, because that was the first time we actually see Bond more human than any of the Bond films that came out so far. Here, you can tell they was trying to again please everyone, where they had the stuff that many people like from the old Bond days, and as well trying to hang on to the Bond or Daniel Craig's Bond, what he had built. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You can't do that with that. You got to choose one or the other. You can't have it both ways. And with Daniel Craig, and this may be his last film, even though he is contracted, I want to keep that in mind, to do one more Bond film. He has I think he has an option to opt out of that contract. So this may be his last film. And from what I've been hearing, he looked like he wanted to get out of it for a long time ago. Which scratched my head as to why he signed another contract. I don't understand, but who knows? If he wants out, then that's fine. But to me, he left a very good legacy, and he left a blueprint for the other Bonds to follow. And believe me, there's a lot of people they are looking into this. Lucius Alba, which is also one of the guys they are looking to do. A lot of people think he should do it. A lot of people will want him to do it, except for Roger Moore, of course. I don't know what his beef with his feeling towards Lucius Alba, but in any case, I think this is a fun Bond film. I enjoyed myself, and that's most important to me. I had fun. Um, the characters again made what made this film, and again, despite the weak script, I think Sam Mendes did good in other departments. He kept me entertained. The actors kept me entertained. It's just sad that they did not do justice towards the story that could have made this even a better Bond film than anything else. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here. I just hope they scale back on the budget. They didn't need to spend that much money on this film. I think they could at least scale back on that. Other than that, it's a three-star film. That's all I can say about that. It's a three-star film, and I enjoyed it. You may disagree, and that's fine. I know a lot of people out there are either disappointment, they enjoyed it, or they underwhelmed. But to me, for the most part, if you can knock away the dispense of disbelief in some of this stuff that's happening, which if you've seen the Bond history, that's pretty much go with the territory nowadays with Bond, and just enjoy it for a simple, fun action film, I think you enjoy it. I think you will like it for what it is. If you're looking for a serious tone, a film that's going to be rugged and basically just dark, you might find it disappointing, especially with the storyline that's happening. And this ain't Shakespeare, unfortunately. But for the most part, I thought they did a good job for the stuff they have. Enough job to justify seeing it on the big screen. So that's my opinion. You may not agree with it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And until next time, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.